So good morning, my name is Anna Balázs, and on behalf of Bosch Security and Safety Systems, I'd like to thank you for joining this webinar. Our session today will be a co-presentation with VDS, which is Europe #1 certification institute specializing in fire protection, security, and disaster prevention. Our topic will be the application of EN54 fire alarm systems in Latin America. In the next hour, we would like to give an overview about the relationship between VDS, UL, and FM, and how VDS certified systems can be installed in an NFPA environment. Hope you will find your presentation interesting and we can open doors for future cooperation. But before we get started, a few important technical information I'd like to share with you. We will record this webinar and make it available for you and YouTube for later viewing. All audience lines are muted to ensure the audio quality, but we are waiting for your questions, comments via the Q&A section. You can enter your questions during the webinar at any time. And at the end of the session, we answer your questions. Let me start with a short introduction of our presenters today. First of all, our guest speaker, Dr. Florian Schaar, the coordinator of partner relations at VDS, and then Ivan Paredes, our regional product marketing manager for Latin America. And then we have also colleagues on the line who will help us to answer your questions at the end of the session. You can send your questions either in English, Spanish, or Portuguese. Our colleagues are here and we will answer all your comments, questions. And about the agenda, after this short introduction, we would like to share with you some facts and figures about our company and then the portfolio we are covering. Then Dr. Schaar is talking about VDS approvals and their role in safety and security. And at the end, the Q&A. And now, Ivan, the floor is yours.
Hola, buenos días. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias, Ana, por la introducción. Thanks, Ana, for your introduction. Voy a empezar hablando un poquito de qué es lo que hacemos como Bosch Building Technologies y dónde estamos. Básicamente, nuestras dos áreas de actuación, como ya mencionaba Ana, son sistemas de seguridad, que incluye sistemas de videovigilancia, incluye la parte de detección de incendios, que es donde estamos nosotros, la parte de control de acceso, control de intrusos, y tenemos la línea de comunicaciones que incluye incluye audio evacuación, audio profesional, audio para conciertos y comunicaciones especiales y de misión crítica. ¿Y dónde nos encontramos? Pues básicamente estamos en todo el planeta y dentro de nuestra división tenemos una compañía especial que se dedica a la parte de planeación de proyectos, instalación y operación que opera en los países que ustedes ven en el mapa. Básicamente está en el área de Alemania, Austria y sus alrededores. Estamos en Inglaterra y el Reino Unido con Protec, en Estados Unidos con Climatec y este año o recientemente arrancamos con la India y Singapur. En América Latina, nosotros manejamos una operación de venta de productos como ustedes ya nos conocen. Algunas facts and figures interesantes. Al momento somos 9.900 asociados. Alrededor tenemos una venta total de 2.1 billones de euros, uniendo la parte de Product Business y la parte de Integration Business. Tenemos 5 ubicaciones de manufactura. Están en Portugal, en Ovar, en Alemania, Eindhoven, en China y en Estados Unidos y en México. Entonces, nuestros productos, como pueden ver, se fabrican alrededor del mundo. Tenemos presencia global y en América Latina tenemos presencia local en, me atrevería a decir, el 80% del continente, desde México hasta Argentina. Tenemos oficinas locales en México, en Colombia, que cubre Centroamérica y el Caribe, en Ecuador, en Perú, en Chile, en Argentina, que cubre Uruguay y Paraguay, y en Brasil. Nuestras áreas de negocio incluyen, como ya les mencionaba, sistemas de video, sistemas de control de accesos, sistemas de alarma de intrusión, tenemos software y servicios en la nube, tenemos la parte de sistemas de alarma y detección, publicadores y evacuación, audio comercial, comunicaciones críticas, audio profesional y de conciertos, y nuestros sistemas de conferencia y discusión. Entonces, como pueden ver, tenemos un portafolio bastante amplio y estamos listos para apoyarlos en lo que necesiten. Cuando hablamos de sistemas de detección de Bosch Security Systems o Bosch Security and Safety Systems, básicamente nosotros ofrecemos la parte de detección regular o state of the art con detectores de humo, paneles, estaciones manuales, detectores especiales, y tenemos además la detección mediante video que incluye algoritmos de inteligencia artificial. Entonces tenemos un portafolio completo para apoyarlos en los diferentes proyectos que ustedes puedan tener. Podemos ir desde un edificio de oficinas, un edificio comercial, hasta una gran planta comercial o industrial. Entonces, ¿cuáles son los puntos clave de trabajar con Bosch? Primero, que nuestros sistemas son confiables, porque la confiabilidad es clave para salvar vidas. Las falsas alarmas interrumpen los negocios, entonces la idea es que nuestra tecnología ayuda a minimizar las falsas alarmas, y la tecnología que está en nuestros detectores y en general la inteligencia de nuestros sistemas ayuda a reducir lo máximo posible las falsas alarmas. La velocidad de detección es importantísima, por lo tanto también nuestros sistemas son lo suficientemente inteligentes para entender si lo que están detectando es fuego o es algo diferente. Entonces ganas tiempo, porque mientras más tiempo se demora el sistema, menos tiempo tiene la gente para evacuar. Tenemos la filosofía de lo que nosotros le llamamos la compatibilidad hacia atrás, es decir, que nuestros sistemas actuales tienen la compatibilidad con lo que teníamos antes para garantizar que nuestros usuarios estén siempre protegidos, lo que quiere decir que nuestra tecnología tiene un nivel de obsolencia menor, porque nosotros seguimos manteniendo la compatibilidad para que, por ejemplo, instalaste un sistema hace 5 años y necesitas hacer una extensión en el 2023, se pueda de forma transparente. Y además tenemos la filosofía de que la planeación y el mantenimiento deben ser muy fáciles, entonces tenemos sistemas como el Safety System Designer, tenemos sistemas como Remote Services para la parte de mantenimiento, que ayudan a diseñadores y empresas de integración a el manejo de sus sistemas de una forma eficiente y mucho más rápida. Como les decía, esta es parte de la tecnología que tenemos en nuestros sistemas. Tenemos notificación de alarma ininterrumpida, es decir, que si se va la luz, igual es posible seguir manteniendo las sirenas de alarma. Nuestros sistemas de detección están basados en algoritmos de inteligencia artificial, tenemos sistemas en la nube, tenemos la plataforma de diseño que se puede integrar con AutoCAD, y además tenemos toda una plataforma, una biblioteca para BIM, y tenemos una serie de tecnologías, o todas desarrolladas por Bosch, para mejorar la calidad de la detección. Aquí ustedes pueden ver una muy rápida eh, topología de un sistema tipo, eh, el panel central, que es el cerebro del sistema, y una serie de detectores y dispositivos para la detección. Como pueden ver, tenemos un portafolio bastante completo. Y con esto le doy la bienvenida al doctor Florian Schaar, que nos va a hablar un poco más de la colaboración entre Bosch y BDS y por qué es posible entregar sistemas IN54 en Latinoamérica. So, Florian, the floor is yours.
Sí, mejor. Muchas gracias y buenos días, buen día, día expertos para procesado y también para protección contra incendios. It's a pleasure to be more or less here with you with the Bosch team, and I hope we can soon have a seminar like this in person. Now, basic question, why should you spend 30 minutes and anyhow care what I'm talking about my institute? Because I have some information that will hopefully cause you to say in a few minutes, see, this was totally helpful for my daily work and business. Yeah, we are unfortunately in for a bad start due to the fire effects. One basic issue I hear a lot from our partners around the globe selling or installing or planning top safety systems like you do is the customer stating, fire, fuego, can never happen at my company because we don't have candles, we don't have a chimney, so there can never be a fire. So I'd first of all like to support you with some helpful statistics if this is coming up. Brand new study by the German Fire Brigade is showing that exactly 3% of alarm fires are resulting out of open flames, like the chimney, like the candles. 3%, while any study I've seen around the world states that the main source of fire in all industrialized countries like ours is always electricity. So catastrophes like the one in the picture can happen from installation flaws and also by simple aging, like in the ventilation, in the lights, in the computers, and in the dozens, hundreds, maybe thousands of sockets that can never be switched off. So of course, fire danger is affecting every single sector, every single building. The outcome of this is that we have heavy 6 billion euros of fire damage in Germany every single year, $328 billion fire damage in the US also every single year. And then, for example, you have 1 kilo of burning plastic. If you look at the flame damage caused by 1 kilo of burning plastic, not too heavy, that can mostly be taken care of by the cleaning woman. But 1 kilo of plastic burning is creating 2,500 cubic meters of highly poisonous smoke, which is totally contaminating everything it touches within those really big 2,500 cubic meters. Machinery, the building itself, everything it goes to. So this is why the smoke damage is usually 10 times higher than the fire damage. How often we have fires? We have a larger fire in a company in Germany every 5 minutes. And I guess everybody knows Germany has an extremely high level of regulation, and still these are quite bad numbers. And then studies in Germany and the United States show that smoke damage, another argument often heard from operators is, yeah, okay, a fire might happen. These are really bad numbers, yeah, but I have insurance, so why should I ever take care of a fire happening? Because after a somewhat larger fire, a company usually looks like this one pictured on the right. So it is clearly no longer able to deliver what it is getting paid for. So usually they have insurance, the damage is paid for, business interruption is paid for, but the company can no longer deliver. And usually special machinery is affected, where you have a waiting period of at least 6 months to get them back in again. And it's also not easy to get the special craftsmen needed to install the special machinery. So in this meantime, even the very best customers of this company are definitely forced to leave, because otherwise it would affect their business also. And this is why our partners in a German insurer association say, yeah, usually the business interruption insurance only covers the time up till insolvency. And as you can see here, 1 year after a larger fire, almost 3/4 of companies affected are going out of business. Another thing that may be important for your work is the standard reaction of humans to fire alarms. This is a quite nice mall in Moscow. And in the year 2018, there was a developing fire. The FDAS, perfectly doing its job, kicking in at a very early moment and giving an alarm, sounding an alarm, blinking an alarm. Unfortunately, not directly to the fire brigade, but instead to the technician on duty. The technician on duty checks the cameras, doesn't see any problem within the mall, and says, hey, why is this damn technology beeping and blinking at me? Turns off the fire alarm, resulting in this wonderful picture you are seeing here. Yeah, we could say, enough of these evil, horrific statistics. Please give us some good news. I do, basically you do, because you are safely protecting your customers, protecting human lives and also the environment from these bad numbers by relying on the immediate and proven reaction of VDS certified automatic safety systems, mostly from Bosch, I would say. Because no matter whether it is the World Cup final or Christmas evening, the systems are safely watching 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But the one core problem with such highly complex technology is, how can we ever be able to tell if this is really going to work when a fire happens, maybe 5, maybe 10 years after the installation? If this will then reliably protect my customers. And no one can ever ensure that by just looking at these systems. And this is why we are here. VDS is answering the one key question for everyone involved in fire protection technology: will that safely work in an emergency? And that this core matter is definitely proven and ensured in practice can be seen at first glance with the VDS quality seal, of course accepted by authorities all over America Latino. Yeah, now you can say, okay, muy bien, sounds good, but please give us some details. Please give us especially some proof. How can we be sure that the VDS approved products and systems are really safely protecting us? Because we are evidencing supreme reliability by practical endurance specifications in worldwide unique laboratory infrastructure. Yeah, I had to read this to you again because I created it for our homepage and I really like it. We are, for example, same as Underwriter Laboratories, doing tests subdivided into the two main parts, functional testing and environmental testing. Basically, you can say our job is to heavily mistreat safety products and systems and then make sure they still function. So you can see directly at first sight, see, this has VDS on it, this will save human lives and entire companies. Long-term and also under any, even the toughest environmental conditions. Now, my guess is this slide does have two definitely, hopefully decisive points for you. Because looking at a first point, there is a frequent situation that consultants, planners, and installers all over the world are reporting to us again and again. Check your camera, I'll put on a little show for you. They are told to install a fire protection system. Then maybe the authorities are saying, but this system must be done according to European norms, EN, or according to ISO standards. Maybe the operator is an American company who says, but this system is to be done according to NFPA. And maybe also the insurer is coming along and says, yeah, but it must also be done according to VDS. And planners, installers, operators, everybody is doing the calculation. Yeah, I have to do VDS, I have to do ISO, EN, NFPA, calculating, and usually the outcome of this calculation is a very important technical question, which is ¿por qué yo? But hopefully I can make this a lot easier for you. As you can see, VDS approved products are always fully including the European standards, are mostly including the ISO standards for fire detection alarm systems, always including ISO. And they are fully applicable according to ISO as well as NFPA installation standards. So basically, by using the VDS approved technology, you are covering all basic standards with one product. I have some details later on for you, and I will also get you written proof for this if you require it. So basically, with the VDS approval, you are directly covering all the relevant standards directly from one source. Done. Just a short sidestep, since VDS is basing on the European norms, I'll give you a little background. Fire at a mall in Brussels, 1967, 251 people dead. And of course, after such heavy catastrophes, there's really heavy pressure from public opinion and media on the politicians. Hey, change something. We don't want to live through this ever again. So they had experts create the first European safety norms. A lot of detail here. You will get a presentation afterwards if you're interested in the small print, but basically you can see this is all the brain power that is going into the European norms, which should hopefully cover a lot of fire incidents. And of course, we are interested in comparing these European VDS norms to the UL standards here for the CIE control and indicating equipment, the head of any fire detection and alarm system. Basically, you must say standards, they are in constant motion, in flux. So they can be changed anytime. The next standard comes out, it will look different. But the very first question arising from people looking at this sheet is usually, yeah, but why is this almost all the same? That is because we have a nice idea. The Americans say this is nice. More important, this is safe. We copy that. The Americans have a nice idea. We say exactly the same. This is totally fine, copying for global safety. If anybody wants to know the second point from the bottom, why the heck I would ever want to silence the sounders, or maybe if you wonder if your customer, the operator, may ask you, why should I ever silence the sounders? I'm paying especially for getting an alarm signal. Give me a hand up in the Q&A section. I can explain that. Now you can see we have differences in the humidity. Yeah, this is, you might discuss on it. We are checking also dry humidity up to 95%. The Americans are checking only the extreme humidity, which is of course putting high pressure on the machinery. We have differences in the fault signal. The fault signal is what must happen if, for example, a detector is being removed. I strongly do not assume that anybody will die because of a 100-second fault signal difference, but you may want to keep in mind that Bosch products are giving this important warning signal in half the time as the UL products. And now the real difference at the moment is the digital system fault. We think this is highly important because of increasing digitalization, and I assume that UL will take this into account in the next issue. But currently the status is only VDF approved systems like those of Bosch are offering this, meaning in practice the increasingly important software is constantly monitored, mostly by a watchdog program. And if a single byte is missing or is somehow going the wrong way, then your customers are instantly informed. Now a little more detail. I hope you can read this. If it's too small, as I said, you'll get the presentation afterwards. For the heat detectors, when you are, for example, looking at point 4 and 5 below, UL is currently not ensuring that the detectors are also reacting in high ambient temperatures. We think this is quite important, especially for the usual heat in most Latin American regions. Same nice cooperation comparison for the smoke detectors. You can see, hopefully see the point 2, protection against ingress of foreign bodies. Now arising the question, whoever would want to ingress foreign bodies into smoke detectors, that is usually insects. They really like to go in there. And this was one of the main triggers of false alarms in Germany in our spring and summer when it's hot and lots of insects are flying around. And of course, many regions in America del Sur, they always have German spring and summer temperature, todo el año. And as we know, frequent false alarms make users hate the technology, maybe even turn it off. The thing is that the intrusion of bugs or other insects can be prevented by a very simple and cheap grid. So I strongly assume that in the next version, UL will reasonably demand this. Then, for example, what are we doing for ensuring your safety? Checkpoint 4, repeatability. We measure all our results 6 times in a row to make sure that the detectors are not just containing a random luck generator. And point 6, we are performing every single test with 20 detectors to make sure they all react in the same way. I really like those 2 pictures because that's why I had to show them to you. On the left side, you see the smoke duct, which any certification institute has to buy for doing tests according to the European norms on smoke detectors. This tunnel is creating artificial smoke aerosols and is measuring exactly how many of them are in the air when a detector is going off. On the right, you see the wooden box in which UL is putting burning cotton cords and then just counts the seconds until the detector is going off. And another huge difference you can see here is the system testing. This is, we say, a highly important assurance for you and a unique selling point for VDS, the system approval. Because we all know the case, we may have a system consisting of, let's say, 100 parts, 99 parts working perfectly, 1 part not working. And then there's a high chance that a system in its entirety is not working, cannot protect anybody. Or the 100 parts are working perfectly by themselves or in combination with the control and indicating equipment, but they are not working perfectly with one another. So again, the entire system not working. And with VDS approved technology, this can never happen. Because we always ensure the safe functioning of all components, every single component in the interaction as an entire system. Also at full capacity, like the power for fire detection and alarm systems. And that is why our nice approach is called the all-round worry-free solution by governments, consultants, and other fire protection experts in todo el mundo. Now, of course, the question is arising, if this is so important, then why isn't everybody doing this? It is expensive because manufacturers are changing one component and then you have to pay for an entire system test again. But Bosch is doing this, is paying this for totally ensuring the proven safety of your services and your customers. highly important, the NFPA 72 slide, also going for 2001 gas systems, if you're maybe also doing this. NFPA is a US standard, so people often assume that listed means UL listed. But NFPA leaves this open by purpose, always allowing for solutions that provide an equivalent or better safety level. Check chapter 1.5 if you like. What they are demanding is the regular monitoring of products, of course, done by VDS and any European institute because it is important. And they want to see the certification done by a competent organization accepted by authorities having jurisdiction. Yeah, ticked off because VDS is numero uno in Europa and accepted by authorities all over the world, including, of course, the Latin American countries. So products approved by VDS, always, as I said, also certified in accordance to the EN54 series, can be used anytime in NFPA 72 installations. Yeah, just a little showing off. Basically, why is it important, I say, to look for VDS approval? Because you know that any flaw in the highly complex fire protection technology has been detected immediately, and it will not be detected while fire is raging and every single second is counting. And we are having cooperations, of course, with ISO, with UL, with FM, and brand new LATAM PCE, the Latin American Fire Protection Association, formed just a few weeks ago. I would suggest checking them out. Very nice organization. And one more thing that could be important for your work. A very big player in the safety markets are, of course, always the insurers. And when you are dealing with them about the approved systems, it should be helpful to mention that VDS was founded as the official sprinkler testing laboratory of the German insurers. Sprinklers because when we were founded in 1908, and so even a little older than Bosch, that was the only safety technology existing. And we are still 100% owned by the German Insurer Association, with members like Allianz or Munich Re, who are also quite prominent in the Latin American countries, and of course also owned by FM Europe. And since our insurers are paying extreme 2 billion euros every single year for fire damage in Germany alone, they keep a very close eye on fully reliable safety technology. And since we were founded 1908, we have been testing fire protection technology since it was first used, so we know exactly where to look to find the flaws. A little more detail, if this is important for you, on our acceptance agreements with UL and FM. As I said, FM Global Europe is a member of the VDS Owner Association, the German Insurer Association. So if anybody is asking, yeah, but is FM also accepting VDS approval? You could say, yeah, excuse me, but FM owns VDS. Of course, they should accept this. Same for UL. We have a data acceptance agreement so far, and looking what else there will be to come in the future. Another thing that might be important to you are the VDS guidelines. I'll have a lot of detail for you in the coming slides, and I'll keep the clock in mind. They are preferred worldwide for highest precision and reliability, and they are even named technical holy books by the Safety and Construction Press, and are usually the base of later international standards. You can download lots of them for free at vdsshop.de/en. Why is that italic? I'm terribly sorry. We're currently updating the international shop, so it's not working at the moment. You can either just enter VDS and any type of technology that's interesting you into a search engine. They will drop that out for free download, or you can write me an email. What may be really important for you, because that's a hot topic at the moment, is safety for lithium-ion batteries. We have collected all the knowledge there is on these batteries at the moment. So either you type in VDS lithium-ion or you type in VDS 3103EN, direct free download to everything we know about fire protection for lithium-ion batteries. If anybody is interested in detail what the VDS approved Bosch technology all has to master in order to get VDS approval, please check our product guidelines, also free download at a search engine VDS 2540EN. And maybe also, if this is important for you, the connection to the extinguishing systems VDS 2496EN. Same thing, a little detail if you want to check afterwards or later online with the guideline. What are we doing for ensuring a safe fault monitoring? Now, always a core question. I have so many different kinds of detectors. Which are the detectors I should use for which kind of environment? A little graphic here, hopefully helpful to you in your work. You can see that the smoke detector is written by far the biggest. That is because in any standard atmosphere, we usually have around 90–95% smoke detectors installed there. The only exception being the kitchens because of the water damp, which could turn off a smoke detector, so better use a heat detector there. Or very unfortunately, any place where smokers could go, who say it's too long, takes too long to get out of the building, I'll just go for a quiet place, smoke there. Then I do have some, I say, highly important additional backup for your work. You may want to make some really good use of this. I have collected these wonderful marketing pictures about cooperation during construction. But basically, if this should happen, as you know, fire in a company, larger fire in a company in Germany every 5 minutes, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years after the installation, then these wonderful marketing pictures are usually turning exactly into this reality. I can assure you from my experience, on the left is a 100% realistic picture of either the operator or insurer not wanting to pay millions of dollars, whatever damage by themselves, and first of all going for the installer. If not the installer, then the planner. And if there is, highly unfortunately, the so-called human damage involved, then original quote from a German expert, the authorities are definitely looking for somebody to crucify, and they are looking no matter how long it takes until they find somebody to crucify, which is usually also, first of all, the installer. So what should be helpful to you is that we also have guidelines for planning and installation. Because if you can tell whatever will happen, yeah, I'm terribly sorry, but the system was totally planned and designed according to German #1 standard, then they usually should go and bug somebody else. The standard is called VDS 2095EN, planning and installation of fire detection and alarm systems. Unfortunately, not available at the moment in English. It is in layout. But what I have already added in here is the chapter on the healthcare industry, because I heard that it's quite a hot topic at the moment in Latin America. You will get the full guideline in a few weeks online. So far, I hope I can support you a little with this overview. All details later. As I said, you'll get the PowerPoint. Then also for later, a very short overview on planning and installation of multi-sensor detectors, because they are also a quite hot topic at the moment. And in case anybody is interested in this, this is all the kind of different test fires that detectors have to master in order to be VDS approved or getting the European standard approval or certification. The one thing that might be definitely interesting for your work here is when you're looking at test fire number 6. This is firing up the so-called methylated spirit, which is a really nice name for alcohol. What you may want to keep in mind is that, of course, there is seldom, I would not say never, but seldom alcohol in any working facility. But when this very nice Corona story started in Vente, suddenly every single company was storing masses of disinfection materials, disinfection liquids, which mostly contain of alcohol. And the problem is when alcohol is burning, it is not creating any smoke at all. Hopefully it is usually packaged in plastics, which creates a lot of smoke when it goes up, but you may want to keep this in mind when you see huge wreckages of disinfectant against Corona. You can see I'm perfect in time because this is my almost last slide. Over voltage protection, we're all talking about climate change, so we have increased thunderstorms. We have a VDS guideline on this, unfortunately not available in English at the moment, but I've translated the core points here for you also. May want to check this out once you are finished with the guideline. Yeah, final question. Why would it be important to use VDS approved products? First of all, because you are covering every basic standard with one single product. And of course, with the German VDS approval, the core question of every authority, consultant, and safety responsible: will this safely work in an emergency? You can directly answer this with a very distinctive yes, anytime, see, because we have clearly proven this for you. Señoras, señores, gracias, obrigado por su tiempo. Any further questions, just write me an email, give me a call. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on the VDS homepage. But basically, this is our official final slide, but we've been totally serious for half an hour now, so I'm going to show you another much happier final slide. Las guapas de Oktoberfest Brasil en el Oktoberfest Alemania, muy bien también. But I have an even better one for you. A few weeks ago, I was at the Wacken Festival, the very first one since Corona started. And I was surprised to almost meet more Latin Americans there than Germans. So obviously, America Latino gusta esta música. So I'll do a final skip and give you some really nice music for the end. Muchas gracias. Ah, wrong, sorry.
Thank you very much, Florian, for this excellent presentation. And dear audience, now this is the time for having your questions. Ivan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So let me check. Well, we had the first one was already answered. We have another one. If you can just explain a little more about the cooperation between VDS and ULFM and what does it mean for the Latin American market?
Yeah, we are right at the beginning of this cooperation. The thing is, just between me and you, we are cooperating, but we are, of course, also competitors on the world market. So this is a little hard to come by. What we have so far agreed on is that, for example, for UL, we will totally accept each other's test results according to the European norms. And we are, of course, looking to give you more and more cooperations all over todo el mundo. Also for FM, we are doing cooperations in the inspections. That means we have shared information slide on sprinklers, not on fire detection alarm systems at the moment, but on sprinklers, and are also offering joint inspections on this. The thing is, I hope it will be helpful for you, because I know the FM and UL insurance stuff is really strong in Latin America, to mention that there is a cooperation and that we are accepting each other's approvals so far. I hope this will be helpful for your work on the Latin American continent. And there will be definitely more to come. Give us some time. You will find everything we are soon doing in cooperation on our LinkedIn channels or on a VDS homepage, or also ULFM homepage.
We check. We have another one regarding the material. Sí, vamos a entregar el material, y también va a estar la presentación grabada en nuestro canal de YouTube. Así que les vamos a estar comunicando a través de email a todos los participantes cuando estos materiales estén disponibles. Let me see. Seems like we have no more questions so far.
Yeah, mejor. So I hope that was helpful. And if any further questions should arise, you have my mail address on the last 3 fine slides. Just write me for anything you need to know.
Then, thank you very much, Florian, once again for this excellent presentation. And as Ivan mentioned, within a couple of days, we are going to share the presentation with you together with the link to the recorded webinar. And also some guidelines, I think. Yes, Florian, this is the 2 ones that you have already sent to me, will be a kind of attached
yeah, hang on,
document.
I can directly put it in the Q&A, a little link.
Yeah, we are looking forward to seeing you in other sessions in the future. Thank you very much once again, and wish you a very nice day.
Mejor. Por el señor Greza, I have just inserted the link to this VDS NFPA approval in the Q&A section. So please feel free to take it. Otherwise, Bosch is also going to send it to you within the next days.
Muchas gracias a todos y que tengan un muy buen día.
Muchas gracias a usted. Obrigado.
Bye.
Bye.